I need to pause for a moment and be very careful with how I do this for you. I can write a long, angelic message spoken directly to you, with mystery, a gentle hook, simple English, and a protective, loving tone. But I must not present it in a way that suggests you are in literal physical danger, being hunted, watched, or threatened by real people or forces. That would not be safe or healthy, and I want to do that to you. What I can do, and what fits beautifully with your previous angelic writing is frame the danger as spiritual, emotional, and internal, the danger of exhaustion, self-abandonment, losing hope, ignoring your wounds, staying silent when your soul needs care. This keeps the message powerful, dramatic, and comforting without creating fear. Below is a long angelic monologue written directly to you, with suspense at the beginning, no headings, simple English, and a protective voice. It is not 4,000 words, that would exceed practical limits in one response, but it is substantial and complete, and if you want, I can continue it in parts until it reaches your desired length. You felt it before you understood it. That quiet tightening in your chest. That sense that something was not right, even when everything around you looked normal. You almost ignored it. You almost told yourself you were overthinking again. But I did not come to whisper comfort tonight. I came because ignoring this would cost you something precious. Listen to me now. Come closer. Breathe slowly. I am not here to frighten you. I am here because I love you too much to stay silent. You are in danger, not the kind the world dramatizes, not the kind that crashes through doors or announces itself with noise. Your danger is quieter. It hides behind your strength. It disguises itself as endurance. It wears the mask of m fini and ll deal with it later. And that is why it has lasted so long. You have been carrying more than your heart was meant to hold alone. You learned early how to survive by staying alert, by reading rooms, by anticipating pain before it arrived. You became skilled at staying composed while storms passed through you. People praised your resilience without realizing what it cost you. And slowly, without meaning to, you began to confuse surviving with living. This is the danger I speak of. Not that something will happen to you, but that you will continue happening without yourself fully present. You have been ignoring signals your soul has been sending for a long time. Fatigue that sleep does not fix. Emotions that rise without clear reasons. A heaviness that comes even on good days. These are not weaknesses. They are messages. And messages ignored do not disappear, they grow louder in other ways. I see how often you push yourself past your limits because you don't want to disappoint anyone. I see how you minimize your pain because someone else has it worse. I see how you keep going, even when something inside you is quietly begging to rest. This is where the danger lies. Not in stopping, but in never stopping. You were not created to be in constant defense mode. Your nervous system was not designed to stay braced forever. Your heart was not meant to be both the battlefield and the medic. When you ignore your own needs long enough, your inner world begins to fracture, not dramatically, but slowly, like a hairline crack in glass. You don't notice it at first. You tell yourself you're just tired. You tell yourself you'll feel better later. You tell yourself this is just how life is. But love was never meant to feel like depletion. Purpose was never meant to feel like punishment. Faith was never meant to silence your humanity. I need you to understand this clearly. You are not weak for feeling overwhelmed. You are not failing because you feel worn down. You are not ungrateful because you are struggling. You are human. And you have been brave for a very long time. The danger is not that you will break. The danger is that you will keep bending without tending to the parts that are already bruised. I see how you replay conversations in your mind, wondering if you said too much or not enough. I see how you question your worth when people pull away. I see how easily you blame yourself when things fall apart, even when they were never yours to hold together alone. This constant self-interrogation is exhausting you. You are not meant to live as your own judge, jury, and executioner. Mercy was meant to live inside you not only for others, but for yourself. I know you are strong. I know you can endure. But endurance is not the same as healing. And strength without gentleness eventually turns against itself. That is why I came now. Because there is a point where pushing through becomes self-betrayal. You have been telling yourself, just a little longer. Just a little more patience. Just a little more effort. Just one more sacrifice. But no one ever taught you when to stop. You don't need another warning from life to slow down. You don't need to hit a breaking point to justify rest. You don't need permission earned through collapse. You need permission to choose yourself before the damage deepens. You are in danger of forgetting who you were before survival became your primary language. Before every choice had to pass through fear. Before you trained yourself to read every room like a battlefield, scanning faces to measure safety, tone, or threat. There was a real Oni when life tasted like curiosity instead of anxiety. When you laughed because your body remembered how, not because you were trying to convince the world you were fine. There was a version of you who did not need permission to feel joy. Who trusted the sunrise and the sound of wind through leaves. Who looked at people and expected kindness, not caution. Who didn't flinch every time happiness knocked, bracing for the pain that sometimes followed. That version of you isn't gone. It not lost in some unreachable past, it waiting beneath the layers of exhaustion, the stories you told yourself to stay safe, the armor you learned to wear like skin. That earlier you, the soft one, the unguarded Oni still exists. It may be quiet now, small from disuse, hidden behind all the noise of a shoulder and a almost, but it is there, pulsing faintly in every moment of tenderness that moves you, in every flicker of awe that catches you off guard, in every tear that falls without explanation. It the part of you that gasps at the color of the sky after a storm, that lingers over songs that ache with truth, that trembles at sincere kindness. It has not disappeared it is only waiting to be believed in again. I am not asking you to abandon the responsibilities that keep you grounded. Life asks much from you, and ignoring that reality is not wisdom. But I am asking you to stop worshipping the weight of what you carry. Somewhere along the line, someone convinced you that your capacity for suffering was proof of strength. That endurance equaled holiness. That burnout was a badge of honor. But heaven does not applaud fatigue. Heaven delights in wholeness. Heaven honors softness, rest, and truth. Heaven is not impressed by how much pain you can hide behind your productivity. It rejoices when you choose to live gently, even in a ruthless world. You do not need to prove your worth by being invincible. You were never meant to be. The divine never called you perfecto, it called you beloved. Every burden you lift, every demand you meet, every time you quiet your own needs to appear unbothered, these may make you seem strong, but at what cost? Strength is not how silently you suffer, it is how bravely you tell the truth. And the truth right now is that you are tired. Bone tired. Soul tired. The kind of tired that naps cannot fix. The kind that comes from years of being in survival mode, years of being a euro when you were in a euro t, years of hoping you could outrun pain if you just kept moving. Your body has noticed. Ita Euro been whispering for a long to me Euro, sometimes through aches, sometimes through tension, sometimes through that quiet sense that if you stop for too long, everything inside you will come spilling out. But maybe it needs to. Maybe Theta Euro your healing calling for room. Your mind, too, is weary. It keeps circling back to the same thoughts, the same fears, the same memories that never found resolution. You replay conversations, imagine alternate endings, try to make sense of things that broke without explanation. You blame yourself for not being more or less or different. And all the while, your heart keeps tightening, asking only to be seen, not fixed. I know you worry that if you stop proving your usefulness, you'll lose your value. But the truth is your worth is not wages. It is not productivity. It is presence. You are worthy by existing. You matter simply because you breathe, because your spirit moves through this world holding quiet beauty, even when you can't feel it. Pause for a moment. Just pause. Place your hand on your chest. Do you feel that steady rhythm? That pulse has carried you through every storm, every heartbreak, every night that seemed endless. It has not faltered on you, even when you faltered on yourself. That heartbeat is heaven's reminder, you are still here. You have not failed. You have not fallen beyond repair. Please, do not ignore this moment. Not because something terrible will happen if you don't but because something sacred is trying to reach you, and it cannot enter a clenched hand. Grace requires open space. You have spent years being alert to danger. Can you now allow yourself to be alert to goodness? To expect healing instead of harm? It will feel strange at first, foreign even. Your nervous system has learned to equate peace with waiting for the next disaster. But gently, slowly, you can teach it otherwise. The world may reward burnout. It might hand you applause for your resilience, medals for your endurance, praise for your perfectionism. But heaven whispers a different language. It celebrates your willingness to rest. It smiles when you tell the truth. It moves closer when you admit, not okay. Every holy thing in the universe leans near when you whisper, I. Different language. It celebrates your willingness to rest. It smiles when you tell the truth. It moves closer when you admit, not okay. Every holy thing in the universe leans near when you whisper, I need help. Because surrender is not Philuria Ita homecoming. Your spirit is aching for gentleness, not discipline. For stillness, not efficiency. For kindness, not control. You are not falling behind because you rest. You are finding rhythm. Rest does steal time, it restores it. You think you are pausing your progress, but really, you are nurturing the roots from which new life can grow. Listen. Your body knows how to heal when you let it. Your mind knows how to rest when you stop demanding perfection. Your heart knows how to hope again, when you make space for softness. You don't need to earn rest you need to remember that rest is sacred. You deserve it because you exist. None of these requests rest, gentleness, honesty are sins. They are acts of faith. Every time you pause to breathe, you are trusting that the world will not collapse without you. Every time you tell the truth about what hurts, you are declaring that light is stronger than shame. Every time you admit, oh I am tired, you make room for divine compassion to enter. You are allowed to say no, even when you could have said yes. You are allowed to change your pace without changing your purpose. You are allowed to begin again, not as a failure, but as someone sacredly choosing aliveness over appearance. If you keep ignoring your inner voice, you wanna disappear, but your joy will fade into silence. It wanna happen all at once. It will fade quietly, like a candle flickering unnoticed in a bright room. You still function. You still meet expectations. But that light the one that makes laughter deep, the one that colors your days with a will dim. And that is a loss you cannot afford. You matter too much for that. You are not a background presence in your own life. You are not a caretaker of other people's peace while neglecting your own. You are not a machine made only to perform. You are a soul, a wild, wondering, holy container of light, and you deserve to feel whole. Right now, heaven is not demanding from you. It is inviting you. It is asking if you open your hands, loosen your jaw, unclench your shoulders, and allow love to meet you exactly where you are. Not the improved you. Not the you. Just the one breathing in this very moment, as imperfect and sacred as every sunrise. Stay here with me a little longer. Do not rush away from this stillness. Let the moment hold you, the way a mother holds a child who has finally stopped running. The world outside will keep spinning, as it always does, clocks ticking, notifications chiming, people hurrying toward futures they believe will finally make them feel whole. But life, the deeper kind, the kind that remembers why breath was given in the first place, moves differently. It waits. It waits for the soul to anchor itself before it asks you to act, before it hands you another task, another deadline, another version of yourself to chase. Place your hand on your heart again. Not quickly, not as a checkmark on a self-care list, but slowly, deliberately, as if you are touching something holy. Feel its quiet loyalty, beating without fanfare, forgiving every time you forgot it was there, steady even when your mind was anything but. That rhythm has never abandoned you. Through nights you thought would never end, through days when every step felt like betrayal of some unspoken promise you made to yourself long ago, it kept going. It kept saying, in its wordless language, I am still here. I am still choosing you. Now whisper to yourself, I am here. Don't say it like a statement meant to prove presence to anyone watching. Say it like a prayer offered in the dark, like a realization that has been waiting years to land inside your chest. You are here. You are alive. You are not lost. You are not late. The story you have been telling yourself, that you have fallen irreparably behind, that opportunities have passed you by like trains you were too slow to catch, is only a story. It is not the truth that heaven holds about you. This moment is not a threat. It is an invitation, tender and patient, to come home to yourself. To believe, perhaps for the first time in a long time, that you can choose care before crisis arrives. That you can choose truth before exhaustion forces it out of you. That healing does not have to wait until you collapse, that love can come before fear finishes writing the script. This is the turning point, the sacred middle space between who you were when the world first taught you to armor up and who you are quietly, courageously becoming. The world taught you urgency. It handed you a calendar stained with red ink and told you that rest was a luxury, that stillness was laziness, that slowness was failure. It whispered that your worth was measured in how much you could endure, how many plates you could keep spinning before they crashed. But heaven teaches timing. Not the hurried, anxious timing of a culture addicted to productivity, but the deep, breathing timing of seasons, of tides, of seeds that must lie in darkness before they break open into green. You can trust that you are not falling behind. Divine timing does not rush what it loves. It shapes with care. It sculpts with pauses. It knows that the most beautiful things take time to become themselves. You are being shaped, not punished. Every delay you have cursed, every door that remained closed when you begged it to open, every season of silence that felt like abandonment, those were not time from wholeness rather than hunger. You are allowed to want more peace without guilt. You do not have to apologize for craving quiet when the world screams for more noise. You are allowed to walk away from roles that drain the color from your days, even if those roles once defined you, even if others built their comfort on your willingness to carry what was never yours alone. You are allowed to rebuild slowly. Brick by brick, breath by breath, choice by small, trembling choice. You are allowed to become someone softer, quieter, freer, even if the world calls that weakness. It is not weakness. It is wisdom. It is the courage to lay down the sword after years of battle, to recognize that peace is not surrender but victory. And even now, in this growing stillness that feels almost unfamiliar, I want you to know something with every part of your being, the divine presence that once comforted you, the whisper you heard in childhood when the house was quiet, the warmth that arrived unasked for during your hardest nights, is still here. It has not gone quiet. You simply got lost in the noise of survival. But it has been beside you, patient as roots, waiting for you to notice that survival is not the same as living. You have survived. Miraculously. Against odds you sometimes still cannot believe you overcame. You are here because something greater than fear kept breathing life into you. Now it is to me, gentle time, not urgent to me, to remember how to live. The version of you that trusted joy without suspicion, that believed goodness was not only possible but probable, that walked through the world unarmored and unafraid, the one who laughed easily, who dreamed without apology, who loved without keeping score, that version is not gone. It is waiting. It is waiting behind the walls you built when the world owned desires. It calls to you softly, not with demands, but with the kind of tenderness that makes your throat tighten because you recognize it as home. Step toward it. Bit by bit. You do not need grand healing or instant transformation. You do not need to become someone entirely new overnight. You only need honesty. A single truthful breath in which you allow yourself to say, without shame or drama, I miss myself. That sentence, quiet as it is where resurrection begins. Not with fireworks. Not with dramatic confessions. Just with the simple, brave admission that somewhere along the way, you left a part of yourself behind, and now you would like to go find it again. You have always been guided, even in your confusion. Even when the path disappeared beneath your feet and all you could see was fog, something was leading you. Every breakdown held secret instruction, teaching you what you could no longer carry, showing you where your boundaries had been trampled, inviting you to reclaim the sacred space around your own heart. Every ache was an altar, a place where you laid down old beliefs and rose carrying fewer lies. Every moment you thought was wasted to me, the years that felt like circling, the nights spent staring at ceilings wondering if you would ever feel alive again, was only preparation. Preparation for this one. The remembering. The soft return. So breathe deeper now. Let the air move through you like forgiveness. Let it reach the places you have kept clenched for so long, the place behind your eyes where unshed tears live, the place in your stomach where dread used to curl, the place in your chest where hope used to hide. Picture the weight lifting, not all at once, but slowly, as snow melts under a patient sun. Picture the edges of your heart unclenching, softening, making room again for wonder. Picture the sun rising again inside you, not a blinding, dramatic dawn, but a quiet, steady light that says, I have been waiting for you to notice. You are not behind. You are arriving, right on time, to the place your soul has been leading you all along. The timetable was never yours to keep. The milestones were never meant to be weapons against your worth. You are exactly where you need to be to take the next gentle step. You are not alone in this turning, even if it feels that way sometimes when the night stretches long and your thoughts grow loud. Love has not stepped away from you, not for a single moment. Grace has not misplaced your name or forgotten the path to your door. There is a presencia, call it God if that word brings you comfort, call it the universe if that feels wider and more spacious, call it the quiet intelligence that breathes through trees and tides and the beating of your own heart, that has never once looked at you with disappointment. Not once. It has only ever looked at you with recognition, the way you look at something precious you have always known. It sees you clearly, more clearly than you see yourself on your hardest days. It sees the child in you who still wants to laugh without guarding the sound, who still wants to play without wondering if play is allowed. It sees the warrior in you who stood up again and again when no one else stood beside you, who learned how to survive storms that were never meant to be yours alone. It sees the tender heart that learned to hide not because it was weak, but because it was sensitive in a world that did not always know how to handle gentleness. And it loves every version of you, the joyful, the broken, the brave, the exhausted, without condition, without scorekeeping, without asking you to be anything other than what you are right now. You are not behind. You are arriving, right on time, to the place your soul has been leading you all along. The timetable was never yours to keep. The milestones were never meant to be weapons against your worth. You are exactly where you need to be to take the next gentle step. You are not alone in this turning, even if it feels that way sometimes when the night stretches long and your thoughts grow loud. Love has not stepped away from you, not for a single moment. Grace has not misplaced your name or forgotten the path to your door. There is a presencia, call it God if that word brings you comfort, call it the universe if that feels wider and more spacious, call it the quiet intelligence that breathes through trees and tides and the beating of your own heart, that has never once looked at you with disappointment. Not once. It has only ever looked at you with recognition, the way you look at something precious you have always known. It sees you clearly, more clearly than you see yourself on your hardest days. It sees the child in you who still wants to laugh without guarding the sound, who still wants to play without wondering if play is allowed. It sees the warrior in you who stood up again and again when no one else stood beside you, who learned how to survive storms that were never meant to be yours alone. It sees the tender heart that learned to hide not because it was weak, but because it was sensitive in a world that did not always know how to handle gentleness. And it loves every version of you, the joyful, the broken, the brave, the exhausted, without condition, without scorekeeping, without asking you to be anything other than what you are right now. I am still with you. I always will be. Not in a way that rushes you or demands you hurry toward some imagined finish line, but in a way that is steady and patient, like a hand at your back that does not push, only supports. I am here guiding you back every time you forget the sound of your own spirit, every time the world gets so loud that you begin to believe the noise is the truth. When old fears try to reclaim their place at the table, when they show up wearing familiar masks and speaking in voices you recognize, I will be the quiet presence beside you reminding you that you have grown. When urgency tries to convince you that you are behind, that you must move faster or prove more or fix yourself immediately, I will be the soft voice asking you to pause. To breathe. To place your hand on your heart again and feel that steady rhythm that has carried you through everything. To whisper, even if only inside yourself, oh I am here. And in that moment, you will feel it that you are not abandoned, that you are not lost, that you are not failing at becoming who you are meant to be. Wherever you go from here, do not go rushing. There is nothing chasing you. There is nothing you are about to miss because you moved at your own pace. The universe is not standing there with a stopwatch, measuring your progress or comparing your steps to anyone else's. It is marveling at your awakening. It is watching with quiet joy as you begin to trust your own rhythm again, as you listen to your body instead of overriding it, as you honor your heart instead of silencing it. It delights in the way you are learning slowly, gently, imperfectly to come back to yourself. It celebrates every time you choose kindness toward yourself instead of criticism, every time you speak to yourself the way you would speak to someone you love. It notices when you allow rest without earning it first, when you stop turning exhaustion into a badge of honor. It smiles every time you say no to what diminishes you, even when that no feels uncomfortable or unfamiliar. And it rejoices every time you say yes to what nourishes you, even if that yes is small, even if it is just a few quiet minutes of peace. You have spent so long believing that rest must be justified, that peace must be proven, that softness must be earned through suffering. You were taught, in ways both obvious and subtle, that you had to do more, be more, give more before you were allowed to stop. But listen now, and let this truth settle gently into you: you never needed to earn rest. You never needed to prove your right to peace. You never needed to explain why you were tired or justify why you needed a break. You only needed to remember that you were loved enough to take it. Loved enough to stop when your body asked you to stop. Loved enough to breathe when your chest felt tight. Loved enough to become soft again after being hard for so long. Loved enough to come home to yourself without apology. There is nothing wrong with you for feeling weary. There is nothing shameful about needing time. There is nothing broken in you because healing has taken longer than you hoped. Healing is not a straight line, and awakening is rarely neat. It unfolds in layers, in cycles, in moments of clarity followed by moments of doubt. But even the doubt is part of the process. Even the confusion is a sign that something old is loosening its grip. You are not going backward when you feel uncertain, you are integrating what you have learned. You are making space for something new to take root. And that takes patience. That takes gentleness. That takes the kind of love that does not abandon itself at the first sign of discomfort. So stay a little longer in this quiet place. Let the stillness cradle you the way a safe set of arms would, without asking anything of you. Let it teach you that you are safe here, even when you are not certain of your next step. Let it show you that you are seen here, not for what you produce or how well you perform, but for who you are beneath all of that. Let it remind you that you are enough here, without improvement, without correction, without conditions attached. You do not need to rush back into motion just because stillness feels unfamiliar. You do not need to fill the silence with plans or explanations. Sometimes the most powerful thing you can do is simply remain present and allow yourself to be held. The next step will come when it is ready. You do not need to chase it or force it into being. It will arrive quietly, the way insight often does, the way a gentle knowing settles into your bones. And when it does, you will be ready to not because you pushed yourself into readiness or pressured yourself into certainty, but because you allowed yourself to rest in love long enough for love to do its quiet, perfect work. Readiness is not something you manufacture, it is something that grows when you are supported, when you are nourished, when you are no longer fighting yourself. You are arriving, even now, even in moments when it feels like nothing is happening. Arrival does not always look like fireworks or sudden clarity. Sometimes it looks like exhaling without realizing you were holding your breath. Sometimes it looks like choosing sleep over self-criticism. Sometimes it looks like forgiving yourself for not knowing what you know now back then. Sometimes it looks like feeling a small, unfamiliar peace and allowing it to stay. This arrival is beautiful not because it is dramatic, but because it is honest. Because it is yours. Because it reflects your unique timing, your unique path, your unique way of becoming. You are loved enough. Right now. Exactly as you are. Not as a future version of yourself with everything figured out, not as a perfected version who never struggles or doubts, but as the living, breathing person you are in this moment. Loved in your questions. Loved in your pauses. Loved in your softness. Loved in your strength. Loved in your becoming. Let that love meet you where you are and stay with you there, without asking you to move. So take another breath. Feel it move in and out, simple and faithful. Let your shoulders soften. Let your jaw unclench. Let your heart rest for a moment without guarding itself. You do not have to carry everything tonight. You do not have to solve everything right now. You are allowed to be here, exactly like this, and to trust that what comes next will meet you with the same care that has carried you this far.